Hi and welcome to another episode of the Getting Things Done podcast from Vital Learning. I am Morten Røvik and I'm here with my good friend and colleague Lars Rothschild Henriksen. Привет, Lars.
Привет, Morten. Good to see you as always, and as always, good to be with our listeners and viewers out there. We always start off with a quick reminder of the purpose of the podcast, which is to help you learn GTD or become even better GTDers. We hope that today's episode supports you in that. If you're new to GTD, we always recommend you go back and listen to the audio version of the first 6 episodes where we talk about the basics of GTD, the 5 steps. Today's episode number is number 135 of the podcast, and today's episode is the second of our 20 years with GTD series, and the episode title of today is called Sharp Edges Are Crucial.
And they are. And the reason I wanted to make an episode about this is because I've seen so many people confuse and lose. That's true in marketing and GTD. If you confuse yourself, you lose. That is, you lose your clarity, you lose your concentration, you lose your confidence in your system. So we are going to talk today about the GTD system as such, and the system becoming both your practice and what do you do, how do you get things into your system, and where do they end up in your system. And you need to know the different schools or different categories of material that you put into a system, because if you don't put them in the correct place, it will mess you up. So we talked a little about this in the pre-show, Lars. So have you what is your personal experience with this? So have you ever put something that is like, we talked about this in earlier episodes, a lot of it, you take unclear stuff that you captured and just drag it into organize. That's the most normal one. So you look at something, it's not finished thinking, and that's kind of like the classical mistake that all people who learn this as ended up doing. You and me also, like everyone else, normal. I guess David Allen as well, before he understood what this was and how it was working together. But have you seen some of that in your coaching or in your own practice, Lars, that when you place things the wrong place, it's messy?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's very common, and it'll still, this having clear boundaries and clear, maybe I can add to this, like clear descriptions or clear standards, or just, zooming out and calling that clarity as a whole. It's just so essential, because when you don't have those clear boundaries in your practice, it just, slowly, it just degrades it slightly. It just, just small sort of erosions, or whatever we want to call them, that impact the system as a whole, and will put a drag in there in some way. So having that kind of clarity with the different, where to put things and how to deal with things, I think that's it's absolutely something that we come across, I would say, frequently.
Yes. And one of the things that I remember very clearly, that when I started out with Getting Things Done, I started with fairly fast. I went into OmniFocus, but I had a brief interlude with Evernote, which is the tagline is the everything bucket back in the day. I don't know if they call them that anymore, but the everything bucket, and it became that, and that was the problem. I put things that was clearly reference material, no action needed, just I need to have it somewhere, and then I didn't do that on a consistent basis. So if I put it in somewhere for reference, it might be an action related to that. So I kind of mixed action and non-actionable items into that. So are you going to do something about it? Yes or no? It's like, I don't know. That's why it's in somewhere. and if there is something my GTD practice has taught me over the years, is that the episode title is very accurate. The sharp edges are crucial to how you feel. Because if you mix things you are going to do something about, you might want to do something about, or not going to do something about in the same lists or in the same view, you confuse yourself. You're going to lose. So, and
But people really struggle with that. If we think back to, training scenarios, for example, when people sit there and you're working that clarify step, and so where does this go? And they really don't want to make that decision, right? They really don't. Well, maybe it sounds fun. Maybe I have the time, maybe suddenly I wouldn't get any more emails and all my tasks were done and I could do this fun one. So I don't want to make a decision now. And it's kind of, just from a psychological perspective, really interesting to see how people just resist that and try to avoid that. And for many different reasons try to avoid that.
Yeah, and some things that I've seen also is that, the resistance of making the decision, because then it suddenly becomes, well, then I have to do something about this. It's just, it might be just a fun thought. But if it is in your actionable items list, you are going to set yourself up for failure. The idea is that when you put something in for example, the next actions list, that's something you committed to do. It's not something you might want to do, or when you feel like it are going to do, you are going to do it. And end of story. I had this, do or not do, there is no try. Somebody made a Yoda impression of me, but I think that is absolutely true. If you don't commit to do something and you put it on your next actions list, you're going to procrastinate it, or if it's not clear. So I've seen.
Can I add my spin to that Yoda one? I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast, but there is. I'm absolutely with you on do or do not do. There is no try. However, the reverse sometimes has to be the case for me. Meaning that if I have to do something, there's a part of me that wants to know exactly how to do it. And sometimes I just have to try. If I have to, let's keep this simple, write a LinkedIn post, do or do not do, there is no try. That LinkedIn post has to be Shakespeare level. At least there's a part of me that thinks that, right? So that is why actually sometimes I have to flip that. I have to just, doing is trying. So I'll try with this post. If it's successful, great. If it's not, hey, I tried, and then I'll try something else next time, and then I'll try something else next time. So I don't think I've mentioned that on the podcast before, but I've thought that many times. Also when I saw the meme, and again, I know what you mean. I am with
Bad
you.
Boy.
But,
Bad boy.
but I want to. I have to try things. I don't actually do much. I just try stuff. I'm trying some AI stuff right now. I'm trying to say something sensible in the podcast episode. I'm a whole lot of trying.
Yeah, you're just trying.
At least for some things.
Yeah, but it is, and I prefer. I'm really allergic to the two words should and try, and specifically when they are in the same sentence. I should try this, and because they are setting yourself up for failure. Or am I going to do this or not? But then I have my trick is setting the bar low enough. So draft
speed trumps perfection.
Yes, any day. So just to try, and that's a David Allen quote, by the way, for those who didn't know, speed trumps perfection any day. And it is, for me, to avoid trying or shoulding, that David's used, I shall try not to should on me today. I don't know if that comes true, but it is a funny one, but it is... if you create a shitty first draft, as David would say, start off. Draft is my favorite word when I need to make something, because it it lowers the bars. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just have to sketch out some ideas on a piece of paper. If I do that, I can do that. Whatever shows up, I don't know how geniusly, but it is just the first draft, and I can live with that. And it lowers the bars so that it becomes easier to just move on into this system. So and then you can, the next one can make a second draft or finalize the draft or something. And what I found, I don't know if you found this as well, but to have just get started with something. It's kind of like opens itself up. If you are trying to see the end of something, like it has to be perfect, it has to be really good, then it becomes really difficult to get started. Procrastination will then be your middle name that day, maybe. I don't know. So
Yeah, no, I definitely recognize that from others and from myself.
yeah.
And there is some that the draft example, I've used that tons of times as well. That has really made a difference instead of writing a blog post and drafting a blog post, and how that kind of naming can really make a big difference. And yeah, so that just comes back to the trying part. I think that lines up. There is still the aspect of the definition of done, and what does that actually mean, and completing things, and setting the right standards for that. That's probably where it comes back to for me. So I'm still all for doing, but it's on a try level, and sometimes it's needed to get things moving.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I do understand why you do that, and I still think that the draft is a better way than try. You know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and you have good intention on trying something, and that's that's my take. So we probably can agree to disagree on that one. So
no, but I don't know if we disagree.
Okay.
It is just a perspective on how we get the ball moving, and how we, I wanted to share that, because I think there could be others out there that have that same kind of perspective, that things are kind of stuck when you set standards that are too high. So and also things that are out of control.
Yep.
I could write a Shakespearean blog post or a LinkedIn post, but it might not be picked up by the algorithm, right? So how can doing make that even successful? It's out of my hands. So I think there are many things in life like that. So that's why I wanted just to throw that out there.
Okay, good. One of the things that I've seen, that when I meet coaching clients, and we go into coaching, they show me their system. They're saying that I am doing GTD, and I've been doing it for years. And I look at their GTD system and say, no, you're not. Referencing to mixing it up, messing things up, the episode previous to this one. And there is another episode coming called Believing You're Doing GTD When You Really Are Not. So I'm just referencing those because there is more valuable things that you can find in our podcast, I guess, hopefully. And but when you look into your systems, where people have dragged unclear things to their lists, they are mixing reference material with actionable items, and they look at the reference material and they don't understand, what am I going to do with this? And it leads to procrastination, and I feel bad because I'm not moving on this. And when they understand this is reference materials, it goes like, oh, thank you. Now I feel better. I don't have to have this, all these negative emotions regarding reference material, because there is nothing to be done. So are you going to do something about it? Yes or no? So when the answer is no, it's a decision made. When your decision is made, then it feels good. But if you don't make that decision, it messes you up. It's really sharp edges are crucial. So decide if you're going to do something about it. In place, like Lars said, I will try, and I've used first draft, and just get started with something. If you decide to do something about it, just get started. So. And have you seen that in coaching clients or in seminars as well, Lars? This
you're bringing up a topic that was just we spoke a lot about that in a recent training. This was a level 2 training with a couple of organizations where we have internal trainers, where and you've seen this as well in level 2 training. So for those who haven't gone through the trainings in let's say a GTD level 1 training, much of what we focused on is next actions and the system in general, but next actions and to varying degrees projects, right? so people that really get this, they will frequently also get the project part of things, but they are missing the other horizons. So in the level 2 trainings, we deep dive into having a more complete projects list, and then we start to build on with all the other horizons, mainly focusing on horizon 2 areas of focus and accountability. And this is, I think, in every level 2 training that I've had, people will show their projects list, and more projects on that list will actually be areas of focus. But they just, capture them and notice them, and they was, well, this is something, and this is my job, and it's not an extension.
Why am I not doing this?
Yeah, I'll put this on here. I'll put this on my projects list because because those were the tools and lists that we gave them in that first training. So that's also one way for me to say, those of you who are listening to this who might have attended a level 1, find a level 2 somewhere. I don't care where it is. I really wish that everyone on level 1 would also have learned and attended level 2, because there is, when you start to really grab onto this and understand it, and then stuff will show up, and it's just great and honestly inspiring that those people that attended this training had, with the level 1 knowledge, still felt comfortable capturing these somewhat more amorphous ideas than submit the report and give the presentation, and it found a way into their system. They just didn't have the next level up and the right place to put it. So that is certainly common, and people can mix this because they misunderstood parts of GTD, or they were in a rush, or maybe some other reason. Perhaps they didn't know that there was another aspect of GTD that they actually needed to maintain this kind of balance in their work and life.
Yeah, and I found that that the horizons to focus model, which is something that for most people who learn GTD is a mystery because they haven't looked at it seriously. And specifically, if you only have a level 1 or a foundational level course where you learn the 5 steps of getting things done, we only go to we have the ground level and the first step up of horizons. One is projects and desired outcomes, but above that you have areas of focus and accountability, and or responsibility, if you want. And I, as you, Lars, see often that people write areas of focus or responsibility down like marketing, and you look at marketing as a project, and you're asking yourself, why am I not doing marketing? No, because marketings are an area of responsibility probably, but it's to have the key is that the key is that an area of focus, responsibility, accountability is a level that births projects. If you look at it and say, well, marketing, maybe I should make a marketing campaign about this and that. And that is a desired outcome. That's a project in getting things done. But it comes from your areas of responsibility. And you have to look at them. You have to, if you want to have real mind like water, you should know what you're not doing right now and feel good about that. And the only way to do that is have a full overview of everything you're responsible to do something about, and then look at them and say, am I comfortable looking at this? Am I maintaining these areas at a level that I feel my internal standard and the company standard is happy with? Am I happy with what I'm not doing right now? So
exactly.
Does that make sense?
No, and absolutely. And it was, as we walked through this and as we started to draft the areas of focus and accountability for each person there, of course, people have some time to work with it and could start to split things out. And then one of the attendees there, if I remember correctly, they really recognized how the list was suddenly different, right? And I think that's part of your point with this one as well, is that, the attractiveness of the list, the clarity of the list, right? That when you look at something and they fit together, what is there? then that makes a whole lot of more sense. And to the simplest example of you mixing forks and knives in your kitchen drawer, right? When you have one place for one and one place for the other, it is a whole lot easier. And you know, again, because for them, I just sympathize so much with it, because they did not have a place to put those areas of focus, but suddenly they did, and suddenly, you know, the existing parts of their system made a whole lot more sense. So for those out there where perhaps trainings might not be an option for them, really put on your detective hat and then figure out where is, you know, where are there areas in my system that I am feel that something is off. That it's a fun exercise to do, because you might come up with something that is small but critically important and really makes a big difference.
Yeah, and we do have this time one episodes about areas of focus. If you want to deep dive into them, it's going to help you. Making sure that you are not trying to do areas of focus, because you can only do next actions and decide outcomes. So
I think that one is actually the second most. I'll have to go back and check, but at one point when I did check, it was the second most popular on my page, on my YouTube page, next to the using Apple reminders as your GTD system. That took off at one point. But the areas of focus one I point people back to all the time, because I think we might have been a bit generous with how much we shared, which we also share in the level 2 training. But that just, you know, I'm so happy that is out there, because it's just such an important part of a GTD system to make, really find that mind like water and that balance. So yeah, good call.
Yeah. So just to do a brief recap, I think we are at the end. Or do you have something to add?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. Well, you tell me. You're the one that.
I think I don't have anything that shows up on my radar, but it is just to recap that, you know, sharp edges are crucial to maintain a good, healthy GTD system that serves you well. Mixing things, trying to you know, put things where they do not belong, where their meaning doesn't match the purpose, then that defeats the purpose. And if you confuse, you lose your control and perspective and your, you know, your calm and inner self. Yes. So I think we are at the end. Will you take us up? By the way, this is shorter episodes than normally. We have started doing this every 2 weeks now, so hopefully you will enjoy the shorter and more frequent schedule of release. So Lars, will you take us out, please?
Yeah, and if you don't, let us know. And if you do, let us know. Podcast at vitallearning.dk. Also with your questions, so we can you know, sneak in listener questions episode once in a while. Still looking for questions. I really had a lot of fun with the most recent one. Taking us out, 2 steps to that. Well, first, next action on that list is to remind you to book your tickets for the GTD Summer Camp 2026. GTDsummercamp.com. Tickets are available. It is from June 14 to, no, I was about to say it wrong, June 12 to 14. And really it's the weekend, it's a Saturday and Sunday. That's only 2 days. Why are you saying 3 days? Well, because most people will show up. 95% of people will show up on Friday and join us for the summer camp dinner on Friday evening. So if you at all have the possibility to join us, be sure to come up there. It's the 6th time we do this. It's a new organizing group with a lot of good ideas. The program is being developed, and perhaps by the time this is released, it's almost finalized. A lot of great people. GTDers are the nicest people, and they will all be there, coming from around the world. A couple of days together, just geeking out on various topics around your GTD system. The theme of this year is Ready for Anything, as you perhaps recognize the book title from one of David's books. So Morten will be there, I will be there, David Allen will be there, Catherine Allen will be there, their dogs will be there, everyone is coming, and of course you should too. GTDsummercamp.com. How did I do, Morten? Was that okay?
Absolutely amazing. Let's do a soundbite of that. So, so everybody and their dogs are going to be there, and probably your grandmother as well. So come.
Exactly.
You're most welcome. And just I will, since we are now pausing a little for you to finish, as I want to recommend people to look at the GTD Master Class Retreat as well. If you want to work on your higher horizons together with Lars, me, and if David's health is good, he will join us in Denmark in Holkenhavn Castle. You will find links in the show notes to the website describing this, and there's limited. We're recording this in March, mid-March. We have 9 tickets left of 12, so 3 is already gone. So don't wait too long. You might be disappointed. And it's an application, so we will. If you don't know you, we will like to talk to you before, just to make sure that we are gathering a group of people who are like-minded and on the same level.
I think actually even more are going to be gone when we go through the current application list.
Okay.
So let's
okay.
So yeah, making this even more. But the application form is there in the show notes.
Yes. Okay. Please continue, Lars.
The other thing to mention is, of course, vitallearning.eu. That's where you can go to find the different country websites for Norway, for Finland, for Estonia, for Denmark. Find your way to all of the great offerings that we have regarding GTD, but also other teaching and products that we have. Go there to learn more. Schedule time to talk to Morten, talk to me. If you are outside the Nordics Plus, cruciallearning.com is a great place to go to find your local partners.
Indeed. And until next time, please, people, stay safe and stay productive. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.